Let me tell you about Evelyn Mulders. She is a healer and teacher in her chosen modalities of herbology and energy kinesiology. In the clinic, Evelyn noticed that clients reach their life goals faster and easier if they implemented vibrational remedies into their daily routine. In support of a clientele, Evelyn became the alchemist of Sound Essence Vibrational Remedies in 1999, using sound, herbs, and various other vibrations, and now distributing her sound in a bottle worldwide. She created the Kinesiology College of Canada in 2001 and gained status as senior faculty for the International College of Professional Kinesiology. With her passion for educating others, Evelyn was inspired to write 2 published books and become an award-winning author of Essence of Sound and The Essence of Herbs, and now the new Whispering Herbs Healing Cards. Evelyn, I'm looking forward to this. It's a long time since we met, so many years ago, 11, 12 years ago, way back in Ireland. Welcome, Evelyn. Tell us your story.
That was a glorious trip, and I still have my beautiful green angel that I was gifted as a speaker, and it's one of my prized possessions. So that was a glorious convention, so I was very thrilled to be there. Well, my passion for kinesiology started with the Touch for Health, of course, as it does for most people. And I also had a curiosity about herbs. So I sought out a teacher that could help me understand flower essences. That's really how it started. And I had done a season with her, and that whole entire winter, I couldn't wait for spring to come again because I was passionate about the arnica plant. And it's so special because it's got a heart-shaped leaf. And arnica I knew was great for bruises and that sort of thing. And at that time I had a very active son. You probably met him, Corey. And I thought this was the perfect solution for all his cuts, scrapes, and bruises. So one spring morning I looked outside out the window and there was this tiny little yellow flower budding. And I'm like, is that the balsam root? Can't possibly be arnica. Arnica does not grow in my location, my locale. I'd have to travel north to harvest it in the spring. And as the days went by, there was a few more little flowers. And so finally I phoned my teacher and I said, is it possible that arnica grows in my region? She says, have you been thinking about it? Oh, I says, I've been dreaming all winter about coming to see you to harvest arnica in the spring so I could make a salve. She says, well, you willed it. I said, pardon me? She says, well, you willed it to you. And I was astonished. So I couldn't wait for the blossoms to come out. And I brought the closest to a crystal bowl I could find in my china cabinet. And I went out and I tiptoed through the little arnica patch I had in my yard. And this was all very new to me. I was really kind of nervous. But when I went to sit down, the arnica plant said, thank you. And I was kind of stunned because I had never spoken to a plant before. And they said, thank you so very much for coming. Would you tell others that the plants really want to speak with humans? And that's when I learned that we are in co-creation with plants. It's really their purpose is to support us. And just to finish that tiny little story, I said, well, I'd like to make a flower essence so I can share that with others. Would you allow me? And this one little plant, he was all kind of curled up like this. He lifted his head up and he turned to me as almost to say, I'm the one you want. And I asked permission. I made a flower essence. And that was the beginning of my herbal journey. And so I was so delighted with making a flower essence. I continued studying with my mentor. And it was different herbalism in the sense that most of my study was in a hammock in the forest. As she spoke, I was picking up all the information. And I was so inspired with her knowledge that I started wanting to use the herbs in my clinic practice. But in those days, if you were working with Meridians, you needed to study traditional Chinese medicine for the herbs. That was the thinking back then. And I started taking that training, and I liked it for a little while. And then I had a little hissy fit, a little temper tantrum, if you will. And I went, are you kidding me? Why do I have to get herbs from China when I have them growing in my backyard? And that started the journey. I wrote the book. It was called Western Herbs for Eastern Meridians and 5-Element Theory. With COVID, I updated it. It's an ebook. It's now called The Essence of Herbs, and you can easily get it. And it's got beautiful updated pictures in it. The first book was just pictures I took myself out of her name was Yarrow, my mentor, her garden. And so I started organizing the herbs to fit the meridians. And I created a chart, and I introduced it to what was it called? A research facility with Dr. Dew. And I presented it at a conference, and he said, finally, somebody's done this. And so I was pretty pleased that my work was appreciated. And then after that, I went off to a Touch for Health. No, that wasn't exactly true. I finished the book, and I asked Dr. Thie for an endorsement. And he was really, really generous with his words in knowing that even though in the Touch for Health system, we're working with body rubbing or head holding techniques, that the biochemistry of the plant had importance too. So would it be okay with you if I read what Dr. Thie said? So in the care of yourself or others, there are many ways to assess what would be helpful. One way is to balance the energy of the soul by using muscle tests to determine where the energy is not in harmony with the purposes and goals of the person seeking change. In the Touch for Health kinesiology model, the herbal preparations are given to balance energy imbalances as found from assessing the meridian imbalance by muscle testing. In this model, the herb has a chemical component, but is also hypothesized to have a subtle energy component, which is the herbal signature or message from the plant kingdom to the human soul. So this herbal manual assists the Touch for Health kinesiologist to make herbal choice that addresses the energy imbalance, both physically and spiritually, to bring harmony to the soul, the whole person seeking change in their life. And those words came to me in Dr. Thie's final days, and I get a little bit choked with that. So I thought maybe I'd quickly go through the book, the manual, so that you could see the workshop. Would you like to? I'll just scroll through it so you can see what the intention of the workshop is. So my intention was to develop a mini workshop so that I could entice people to come to the big weekend workshops of Touch for Health. That was the whole purpose of this. And instead of teaching them Touch for Health techniques, I was using herbs as a correction so that they could find or discover what a locked and an unlocked muscle is. So here's the Dr. Thie's words. Dr. Dew also had a few words. I'll just quickly scroll through here. Just a little introduction of why we want to work with the herbs, because they support us physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And here, just learning how to self-pendulum. That was my intention. And we would teach them the switches, of course. And so it's just a level entry workshop. Show them how to switch on and switch off a muscle. The sensitivity tests that we have in Touch for Health, because in those days, I was working with test files, and we had a whole set of test files for all the herbs so that people, once they found what herb it is that they needed, they would then go out and get it to support themselves. So we did a herbal balance, and my style was working around the navel. So I would just go fire, earth, metal, water, wood around the navel without muscle testing, keeping it very simple. And a light touch was the yang, and the deep touch was the yin meridian. And so this is a whole big step-by-step approach to how to teach it. And then I also included a little balance for the chakras. Because when I discovered when I started writing the book, what was once called Western Herbs for Eastern Meridians, I asked the plants not only for their message, but even though I had categorized them in the meridians, I asked them what chakra system that they were related to. And that became a very important piece later on. As Adam's probably going to talk to us a little bit about the hologram, I was tapping into the hologram of the plant energy by knowing the meridian and the chakra. And this was way back in 2006. So fast forward, I got to tell you another quick story. I'm in England. I'm at a PKP conference, actually. And there was top instructors from all over the world that wanted to learn about the herbal workshop. So I agreed to stay a little longer and teach it for them. But as my hostess was taking me to the venue, 2 minutes before I was about to teach the class, she says to me, she says, you know, you can't buy any herbs in England. I says, I'm about to teach an herbal workshop and you can't buy herbs in England. And I know from my life's journey that when something so big like that sets you back, that there's something else you haven't seen. So I closed my eyes and I threw my eyes up in the air and I had a little giggle. I had a little bit of a plan. I didn't tell the students, but they were going to be my experiment. So they've all had a book. And so we did the full assessment for the meridians. And my correction, instead of using the biochemistry of the plant, was to use the picture in the book. And so the picture, I asked them to do the eye rotations and temporal tapping with the pictures, and they all reported back that the muscles locked that they were working with. And that was how the Whispering Herbs healing cards were born. I got back home and I knew that I wanted to make a card deck. And that's the story of working with Western herbs for Eastern meridians. The cards now, I mean, you can still work with the workshop, with the test files, with the herbs that you have in your own backyard. But you could also add the Whispering Herbs healing cards to that. Can you hear it?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, beautiful.
I'm Evelyn Mulders, the creator of Whispering Herbs Healing Cards.
I've been a practitioner and an instructor of energy medicine for over 25 years. I created the Whispering Herbs Healing Cards to empower everyone with the idea that we can take good care of ourselves simply by connecting with plants, nature's pharmacopoeia. Relying on the science of vibrational healing, the cards provide the energetic signature that transmits healing messages to our organs and glands. You can use them to start each day with an inspirational message. By focusing on the plant picture on each of the Whispering Herbs healing cards, our eyes view the image and our bodies connect with its vibration. By saying out loud the message of the plant as provided on every card, we shift our focus towards the inherent healing offered by the plant. As the herbs softly whisper their message of healing, your body is listening and responding at a subliminal level. The herbal cards fall into the category of regenerative medicine. They tap into the plant's energetic signature, which transmits vibrational healing messages to the meridians and chakras. Now, you don't need to know the intricacies of these healing modalities to enjoy their benefits, just like you don't need to understand electricity to plug in a kettle to enjoy a cup of tea. Well, how do they work? Whispering Herbs healing cards bring the healing wisdom of Mother Earth into your home. They offer a holistic approach to wellness, supporting you mentally, emotionally, and physically. Listening to the herbal message shifts our attitude, which then helps dissolve a stuck emotion. And that's what's blocking your physical wellness. So simply choose a card and sit with it. Enjoy its beauty and inspirational message while allowing the energetic signature of the herb to balance your body's meridians and chakras. What was once impossible is now possible. With quantum physics, the world has changed and we no longer need to ingest the herb. We can gather healing from the energetic signature of the plant. Thank you.
Evelyn, thank you so much. That was really beautiful to finish your presentation with that beautiful slideshow, and to give us the feeling and to hear the music that just seemed to be just right with each one of the flowers. It was beautiful. We did say that there may be time for questions.
I'd love, Evelyn, if you'd say something about the different ways you can use the cards.
Okay, so as a group balance, think about what it is that you want. So how to use the cards, just find the meridian that's switched off, however you do that, through the muscle testing or through the system of the 5 elements around the navel. Find the card. There's a chart. There's a chart that you can use that's in the teacher's pack. So it's listed all the herbs on the chart. You find out which one it is. You find either the herbal test file or the herb itself or the card. Do eye rotations, temporal tapping. You're tapping into the 5th dimension, which is the love consciousness. And in that dimension, that's called the hologram. In that dimension, not only are the archangels and the fauns and the fairies, but the diva of the plant lives in there. So that's why we're getting that great vibration through the cards. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much. That was lovely. Really nice to see the fun and quick way of doing it. And obviously you're still getting the benefit, just in a different way. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great teacher's workshop, and like I said, I'll put the link in there. I have a workshop kit. I know I'm taking up a little bit of Adam here. I do have the kit that gets sent out, and it's everything that you absolutely need to teach the workshop. I don't get any royalties from that whatsoever. The IKC supplies you the certificate, and you're all set. That's me.
Evelyn, thank you so much. I love those words that was on your video. Be your own healer in your own home. And that's a wonderful gift from the herbs and the flowers and the music that you had in the background there on that video. It went home. It was beautiful. Thank you.